toy in the world. If I had a favorite, which I don't.
What's up? What's up, y'all? Today we're going to be reacting to some Nixter V videos, or scary videos if you want.
You heard that? Yeah. Listen, would you be a lamb and bring me
First, scary video.
Sure, where is he?
In the bathroom next to the toilet.
Why is he there?
If you must know, Mother, he is my duty buddy.
Okay, well, I'll be right back. There he is. Oh no, I dropped Hoochie Copie in the toilet and then I tried to rinse them off in the sink and then I dropped them in the toilet again and now there's a bunch of water sloshing around in there.
Oh, Louise won't like that.
Yeah, Mom, that's like her favorite thing. Don't you think I know that, Tina? Oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? Well, we could put rice around it and put it in the oven.
Yum.
No, it might dry it out. People do it with bones.
We should probably throw some ribs in there too, just in case.
Does anyone feel kind of freezing and floaty? Just me? Ugh, where the hell is Coochie Copie?
Just a second!
Okay, it's at 100 degrees, so how long does this usually take?
30 minutes? 30 minutes? That's a half an hour. Louise will catch on to us before that.
All right, look, I know this oven pretty well.
Oven brag.
So I think if we just turn it to 200 degrees for a few minutes, it'll do the trick.
Netflix binging is like
I can't go in there by myself. You guys are coming with me.
What are we going to tell her?
You just gotta stall.
I could distract her with an intriguing dance.
I know we've had our differences, but we're all in danger. We need to work together. Get ready.
Right. Coochie Copie.
The Fortnite community has one of the most vibrant storytelling fan bases. They have single-handedly revived the creepypasta genre, giving us a slew of different terrifying stories for players and horror aficionados alike to dive into. Here on Top 10 Gaming, we have seen a whole lot of amazing creepypastas from all sorts of writers, amateur ones and professionals, and they have scared the pants off of us. So today we are returning to one of our most beloved gaming series on our channel, our list of the top 10 scariest Fortnite creepypastas, coming at you with a part 6. That's a lot. That means by the end of this video, we're going to be hitting 60 different stories. But before we begin this video, just want to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is a brand new RPG title that already has almost 10 million players and is growing. With awesome graphics, strategic gameplay, insane boss fights, and an amazing storyline, it is jam-packed with never-ending excitement. There are over 400 champions that you can collect and personally customize. Like this dude here, Gaelic. He is an orc, and look at him. Look how dope those graphics are. That armor, so cool. But another one of my favorites is Sniper. Look at that bow. I mean, you can take someone out with that. The graphics are just super thoughtful and awesome and looks just like any of your other favorite RPG titles from consoles. There is literally something for everybody with this game. Whether you're in it to collect cool characters, want an awesome narrative to dive into, or you just love RPGs in general. You can even combat against other players in PvP battles in the arena, or check out the PvE in dungeons. And hey, maybe if you're lucky, you can hit us up and join our clan, which was aptly titled Kelly Paladin. Get it? Like Paladin? So come and find us. There's also constant content updates, which makes going back and playing never a stale experience. There's always something to do. And in addition to that, there is an awesome loyalty program for new players. And you get new daily login rewards for the first 90 days that you play. It's free to play, too. So what are you guys waiting for? Raid Shadow Legends has an almost perfect score on the Play Store. So you know it's pretty darn great. Make sure you guys check out the link in our video description below and download Raid Shadow Legends today. You will get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program, and that's really, really cool. Do it now. You guys won't regret it.
Not be scared.
And at number 10, Don't Drown by FlipLaScript. We are starting off our list with a creepypasta from the Fortnite creepypasta king himself, FlipLaScript, whose channel is full with some of the most creative and brilliant creepypastas that we have ever seen. This one is called Don't Drown. The story starts off with our narrator informing us that Starfish had just appeared in the shop for the first time. He tells us that he refused to buy her. She is evil and no one should ever purchase her. A month previously, at the start of Season 9, our narrator had hit up Lazy Lagoon since the pirate ship was still in the Bay, and it was great for loot. Starting up a game of solos, they landed on the pirate ship, but unfortunately, 3 other people had landed there too. But before he knew it, a player wearing starfish, who appeared to look like a siren in the water, knocked out all of those other players. In the kill feed, it read, drowned, something he had never seen before. Slightly creeped out, he decided it would be best to move on elsewhere. More and more players began to appear in the feed as drowned, until he realized that he was the final person left with the starfish player. Leaving the boat, he hears a song in his headset. Turning around, he sees starfish. He was falling into a trance not only in the game but in real life too, fixated on starfish. Then the 2 players she had drowned appeared out of the water, looking like water zombies covered in algae. They began to build, so our narrator built too, and then finally killed them. That's when he saw starfish again. Her eyes, though, had changed to red, and she dragged his character under the water. He had no control. He struggled. Eventually, on the kill feed, it stated that his character had drowned. He then passed out in real life. When he woke up, he was coughing up water. Up next, number 9, Forever Gone by Mr. Gruesome. Mr. Gruesome is another creepypasta creator that we've featured on a list of ours in the past. Their stuff is pretty awesome. This story begins by our narrator telling us that their tale initially...
As a cement mason, I use a Delft bar because I work with a lot of dust and dirt.
It's a match of Fortnite. Seeing that his best friend was there, he joined their lobby and plugged in his mic. But before he could say hi, he heard his friend sobbing. Then he heard his friend say, "Kyle, why did you join? Why? Why?" He kept repeating over and over, "I trust you with my life," ignoring Kyle's questioning. When the duo started up, his friend had changed his tone entirely, as if he was never sobbing. The game carried out as normal. Out of nowhere then, his friend gets sniped. Our narrator goes to help him, but his friend screams into his mic, "No, we have no time, just survive, we cannot lose this game." Our narrator, distracted, gets sniped too. But then in real life, he feels a large push of air. In his headphones, an ear-piercing shriek deafens him. By the time he comes to and gets to the pre-game screen, he sees a player that he's never met before, who comes up to him. In his headset, he hears someone whisper, "Game over." Freaking out in real life, he runs over to his friends to check on them, only to have a woman open the door who wasn't his mother. He didn't recognize her. He asks the strange woman where his friend was, but she has no idea who he's talking about. His friend since had disappeared entirely. No one remembers him, except for our narrator. Up next, number 8, The Happenings from Codename Horror. The narrator of the story begins by saying they're over at their friend's house, a friend named Quinn, on a Friday night for a sleepover, along with their buddy Jake. They all decide to play Fortnite, having brought all of their consoles over to the house. The 3 of them turned them on to play and started playing in squads. But this is where things got weird. They needed a 4th player, and when that 4th squad mate joined up, they had a weird gamer tag. It was actually pretty garbage. When they tried to talk to them, all they could hear was breathing until a high-pitched noise pierced through their speakers, breaking all of their headsets, forcing them to use the audio from their TVs instead. They started the match. Almost immediately, there was a bright flash of light that came out of their screens. When it was gone, their friend, Jake, had entirely disappeared. It was just Quinn and our narrator remaining. They hear a crash coming from another room in the house, so they went to investigate, and there was Jake, lying on the floor, barely breathing, as if he had fallen through the ceiling. The TV started to glitch and a face appeared, a deathly grim one, warning them that if they continued to play, the same thing would happen to our narrator and Quinn. But regardless, they kept playing. Eventually, they made it through to the top 10 of the match. Quinn was killed. When our narrator looked over at him in real life, he was entirely still with a trickle of blood coming down from his mouth. It was just our narrator and their 4th squad member. All of a sudden, the house in real life lost power. Our narrator turned around to see the face from the TV. Next thing they knew, the air was being sucked from their lungs and they entirely blacked out. When they woke up, they were in the hospital. They had been in a coma for 5 months. And their friends? They had died from seizures. And at number 7, Burn Team Leader from Flip Less Script. Here we have another one from Flip Less Script that's 4th of July themed.
Coping nightlife.
But that's like her favorite thing.
Building hero phones. You could bring
It's for all of our American viewers out there. So the narrator warns those to not fire off fireworks in real life. They appear to be the firework team leader in Fortnite, but they are anything but. They love the smell of fireworks. They are obsessed with them and how they look in the sky. They tell of a legend of how using fireworks can summon him, and that if you shoot off fireworks, he'll pull out a grenade and really give you an
No, your face is dumb. Okay, not bad.
explosive explosive holiday that you won't forget. If you bought the firework team leader skin and shoot fireworks without them, they'll become angry, and their other persona, the burned team leader, will come out and come for you. You won't see him next to you pulling that grenade pin. Short but sweet. Moving on to 6, Tommy the Tomato from Fallout Boy Man. This story follows a player who encountered a freaky-looking version of Tomato Head in their game, who claimed that his name was Tommy. After being thoroughly creeped out by this strange player, our narrator tried to report the encounter to Epic Games, only to get a mysterious gibberish message response. So they began a new match, only to come across Tommy again. Trying to avoid him, it seemed that Tommy would go everywhere he went, ruthlessly killing players in a way they had never seen before in the game. After winning the match, the narrator fell asleep where he had awful nightmares. Tommy appeared to him in those dreams, demanding for him to play. Compelled, our narrator got up and began to play again, and Tommy appeared, with his killings being just as gruesome. They had an unspoken agreement. Our narrator would play the game, and Tommy would go around and kill brutally, but would never touch our narrator, always making sure that he won matches. Talk about a grim trade-off. And at number 5, Crawlers from Reaper Play Z. This story's narrator begins by telling us how he and his friends decide to drop into Lonely Lodge. He saw something horrific. A nest of spiders had emerged from the ground and started crawling about everywhere. In real life, he felt something on his shoulder, but just before he turned to look, his friends started yelling at him over chat. There were enemies incoming and he needed to be prepared. So he decided to focus on the game. But the more he played, he couldn't shake the feeling that all over his body, under his clothes, it felt as if he had tiny bugs crawling along his skin. They started biting. Finally, he looked down and pulled off his shirt, and to his disgust, he saw what looked like baby spiders on his chest. He ran into the bathroom, ignoring his friends over the mic. When the spiders were gone and he flushed them down the toilet, he returned to his computer, and his friends blamed him for throwing the match. They did not believe him about the spiders. So they started up another match, this time choosing to land at Haunted Hills. The spiders were back, all over the graveyard. One of his friends approached, and next thing he knew, he heard his friends screaming over chat, and our narrator knew that he was experiencing the same thing he had. The same thing happens again and again and again with his entire team of friends. Eventually, all of his friends had been attacked by spiders in real life and had ditched the game, and it was just our narrator playing. Going into a solo match, he realized that he didn't see spiders anywhere. But that's when it happened. He spotted a large shadow lurking behind him. He turned around in the game to see the most shocking of things, a giant spider looming above him. He watched it swallow another player whole. Luckily, our narrator had a rocket launcher and fired it at the spider, resulting in a gruesome explosion. His game crashed, returning him to the lobby. He ended the story with saying that if you land in a game and see spiders, leave the match immediately. It's really for your own good. Up next at 4, Filter Mature Language. This is the story of a player who discovered a new setting in the game, the Filter Mature Language setting. After turning it off, he realized his friend was online. It was a friend he hadn't played with in months, so he was eager to join him in a match. After getting killed by someone wearing the Raven skin, they started up another match, but surprise.
Newly integrated.
We're all done being knocked around. We could run Hell's Kitchen.
Since he bought his house,
Surprise, surprise, they were killed by the exact same player, wearing that Raven skin, except they noticed something strange. Now there was blood all over the skin. Over and over again, they would find themselves in matches, always ending up getting killed by this Raven player, who had more and more blood on their outfit as they progressed. All of a sudden, his power in his house went off. He turned around and the Raven skin was right there. He ran, freaking out. The Raven chased him. He called his friend and told him what had happened in a panic, and his friend told him the only way that he would survive is if he went back to the game and turned the filter back on. And as soon as he did, the Raven disappeared. He no longer saw a Raven covered in blood in any of the matches. So he decided after that he would never turn the filter off again. True story, or just a way for parents to keep their kids away from swearing in Fortnite? Moving into number 3, The Boy from Wailing Woods from Mr. Gruesome. This is the story of a player who, with their group of friends, would go to Wailing Woods religiously, always landing in the trees and managing to get loot and resources like no other in that area. But this one time when their friends weren't online, they decided to do the usual routine anyway. Despite not being the best player, as they admitted, they tried a solo game, hoping that Wailing Woods would still give them a decent start. They managed to get all of the loot chests there and got a decent selection of weapons. They moved on, making their way to an RV in the game. Next to it was a strange item. It looked like a doll of a little boy, but it was visibly laughing. Curious, they picked it up. All of a sudden, that RV's door swung open. Scared half to death, the player watched as a pale white body came out of it, grabbed the boy out of their player's hands, and then went to a nearby bench and started cradling it. So naturally, the player shot at them. The white figure then got up and began to scream, "Do not touch Danny." Alerted, the player's mother in real life ran into the room to see what was wrong when her kid was screaming. The player turned to face her, about to explain, but his mother just stared expressionless at the TV and walked back out of the room. When the player turned around, their screen was actually pitch black. So the player tried to reboot their Xbox, but it was no use. Annoyed, they decided to go over to their friend's house and told them the story, and they laughed about it. As the player was walking home, though, in real life, they cut through a park. That's when they saw the unimaginable, a white figure cradling a doll that looked just like the one he had found in the game. Talk about eerie. And at number 2, summer scares from Flipless Script. Getting seasonal for you all with another one from Flipless Script at this number. This follows the story of a player who had an unfortunate situation during the 14 Days of Summer event launched in the game. He witnessed a cutscene, something that most players never saw. It was a beach party and all of the skins were there except for Drift. Drift had bad luck and needed to find beach clothes. According to the scene, the last person to show up at the party had to buy all of the drinks and food for dinner that night. So Drift went shopping, got everything he needed, but made a stop at Neo Tilted. The cutscene didn't show what he grabbed, but continued with Drift heading to the party at the beach. He began cooking all of the food for dinner, working the grill, appearing entirely sane and happy, despite, having to buy and cook everyone dinner. The cutscene faded to later in the day with everyone at a large table eating and enjoying the food. All of them.
Anyway, finally, don't we all think we saw? That's right. That's what we try.
Wait, what's the toy say again?
Except for Drift, who was not eating. Someone asked if they had seen Jonesy from Neo Tilted. The camera then panned to an empty seat. Drift said nothing. Finally, the camera moved to where Drift was grilling initially, and paused over the trash can where there was a package of meat. On the package was Jonesy. They were eating Jonesy. The cutscene ended and our narrator felt sick, hoping that no one saw what they had seen. And finally, in at number 1, the devil was my dubs partner from Flipless Script. Last but not least, we have another one from Flipless Script to end off our video. This player begins his story by sharing an experience with us he had during duos. He got his partner, someone else playing on Xbox, but he wasn't really a fan of talking to random people, doing his best to not get trolled. This person, his partner, didn't talk, but the two of them began to work together really well initially, knocking out a few players. Eventually, after a few kills, his partner's mic turned on and he said, "Michael, we better win or your soul is mine." The voice sounded demonic, to the point where the player actually thought it might have been coming from a voice changer. But more importantly, how did he know his name? They headed to Neo Tilted from Shifty Shaft. Creeped out still, they were attacked by another team, but he did his best to hold his own. His teammate went down, but luckily he was able to get that team down on his own. He went over to his teammate and rebooted him. The teammate then goes on mic again and says, "You almost went to hell." Freaking out, our narrator believed that this was real and that he was speaking to the devil. How else would he have known his name? There were 30 people left in the match, so he focused on winning, trying to ignore his panic. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of action after that, up until there were 6 players left, with the circle closing in on Salty Springs. Everyone was in separate forts, shooting at one another. Our narrator managed to knock out one duo. The devil then went on his mic a 3rd time and says, "You've come so far, but 2nd place is still a loss." He was right, but our player was shaking. He swore he could hear distant sounds of suffering in the game. After a few seconds of shooting at the final duo, there was a big battle and his partner goes down. Everyone was badly hurt. He heard over the mic, "If you lose, everything you know and love will be gone." So he gave it his all. He couldn't fail. He stepped up, set a trap, killing both of his opponents. He was then returned to the lobby and greeted by a present from his teammate. The text read, "See, I wasn't lying." He opened the gift, and to the horror of our narrator, he saw a photo of himself, moments before he had initially begun the match with the devil. Alright, there we have it, friends. Which one of these was your favorite? Let us know in those comments below. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more lists just like this one. And more creepypastas. We've got a lot of them. Also, before you guys go, another big thanks to our sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. Be sure to check them out in the video description below. In the meantime, though, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.
Bust it open real quick. Skitty bop bop, skitty bop, oh, skitty bop 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 bop. Excuse me. Hello.
What the? Who are you?
I'm good, Coochie Kobe.
What?
Oh, great. The timeshare people double booked us.
Okay.
If you do that, I'll win in 8 moves.
Enzo was clearly taken with the world's smartest sponge, constantly bathed every day. Already smelling, I'm here to teach people all that I have learned. This is where I truly belong. McDonald's carrying out insurance. Will you make your order for free? And you can have it on the way home, even if it's not your fault. Like if it's whoever that guy's chasing's fault. Or if it's man's friend's fault. Or even if it is, ultimately, your fault. Carry out Domino's large free melting pieces for $7.99 each. With Domino's carry out insurance, we'll bring it back and we'll remake it for free.
It's the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
I'm down.
All part of 2019's Best SUV Fair. Hurry in today and experience the joy for yourself.
Get a great deal on a Honda HR-V for a 2019 Best SUV. A Honda Summer Spectacular.
Well, it finally happened, Jackson. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down the she shed, Cheryl.
Well, the she shed's on fire.
The she shed was something I like.
Exactly. It's not she shed coming by the farm.
Your she said stuff, Cheryl.
In that picture, I'm getting rid of for your she shed.
I seize the sun where the lost.
Home insurance trusted by more people than any other. State Farm. On your next vacation at AdvantageHomes.com,
What's the big deal? Oh my god! What is the big deal, Mateo? Oh my god.
Seize the sun where the lost. I'm banned from Roblox. Yes, hello YouTube. What's up? Yeah. So you know my username on Roblox. If you don't, I'm not telling you my username because I'm banned from Roblox. Yes, and this is really funny. So funny that I had to post it on YouTube. You can see right here that I am banned for 1 day. 1 day. And you know what's so funny about this? You really want to know what's so funny about this? Look at how many things I said. Let me scroll down the list here. And I'm only banned for 1 day. Let me tell you specifically what I did to get banned. I said this is a cute picture of Cashier. I showed some ugly ass troll kid picture on
Okay, that's not necessary. Okay, your family would be good for you. You'll keep living behind these walls. Something more, something. Yeah, I'm sure it's on. This guy.
said I got banned because it was inappropriate, and I tried to link an image to describe somebody, and that was inappropriate too. So, and then I said, what if someone punched Mr. Doomburger? I was afraid if I said punched, it wouldn't go through. And that kind of is inappropriate. And then I did some profanity stuff. I spelled out SHIT and all that stuff, and committed suicide, whatever. And I got some inappropriate stuff here, just stuff about Mr. Doomburger and him committing suicide, and profanity, inappropriate. Yeah. How many items do you think are here? Let's see. So this moderator, he literally looked into my history. He took some time out of his day to actually give me a 1-day ban. What the hell? What the hell? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Hello YouTube, welcome to Baba Juice. Today I'm going to play another game, Would You Rather. Except the consequence is I have to take a drop of this hot sauce called Satan's Blood every time I get the least popular answer. You have no idea, guys. I don't want to do this, but I want to do this for you guys. So let's open this right now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Hey guys, Fave here, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, people that are banned forever. Now, y'all notice, y'all love to comment on the way I say banned forever, so I felt like maybe there's a demand for this. So I'm trying this thing out. I am now selling Banned Forever merchandise. So you can click the link in the top right corner, and that's all I'm going to say about it. If you want it, you can get it. If you don't want it, it's fine. Anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at the richest people that have been banned forever. Now, the thing about this list, it's really hard to know how much Roblox scenes are worth, especially when they're banned forever. Now, I'm going to be excluding Fave from this list, mainly because there is no way I can confirm how much Robux I had. And when I got banned looking like this, it's pretty hard to act like I was super rich. Now, I promise you guys, I did have a lot of items when I got banned. It's just, it was Black Friday 2011, and the Skelevener hat in this face just came out, and I wanted to flex. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm not putting myself on this list, but rest in peace, Fave. But without further ado, let's just get right into this list. So, number 20. So right here, we have a Robloxian named 3 Gods, and he was worth 9.9 million Robux. Forever. When he got banned, he seemed to be wearing these fiery horns, and that's a pretty good way to go out, man, because if you're burning to death, burning in Banland, I don't see a problem with that. Number 19, LGG Flex. Now, you can tell this guy was rich. He's wearing a Dominus Frigidus on his head, and he was worth about 10 million Robux as well when he got banned forever. This dude, I don't think he saw it coming, bro. He just looks like this casual guy who just so happened to have a Dominus Frigidus. He was chilling. Oh, and also, if you want to know what the rarest Domini are, you can watch that video right now in the top right corner. Number 18, Monster Man 994. Now, believe it or not, this guy, who doesn't seem to be wearing anything at all, actually owned a Dominus Imperius, which is the white one, by the way, for those of you that don't know. And this man was worth approximately 10.1 million Robux. So, pretty interesting nonetheless. And, you know, I feel bad for the guy. He just seemed like he was walking. You can tell this guy was rich. He's wearing a Dominus Frigidus on his head, and he was worth about 10 million Robux as well when he got banned forever. This dude, I don't think he saw it coming, bro. He just looks like this casual guy who just so happened to have a Dominus Frigidus. He was chilling. Oh, and also, if you want to know what the rarest Domini are, you can watch that video right now in the top right corner. Number 18, Monster Man 994. Now, believe it or not, this guy, who doesn't seem to be wearing anything at all, actually owned a Dominus Imperius, which is the white one, by the way, for those of you that don't know. And this man was worth approximately 10.1 million Robux. So, pretty interesting nonetheless. And, you know, I feel bad for the guy. He just seemed like he was walking around in his hoodie. And then he got banned forever. Now, of course, you don't have to wear a hoodie plain like this. You can get a hoodie that says banned forever on it. But enough with the shameless promotion. Next up, at number 17, we have Josie. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't think I've ever seen this Roblox face before. It's very interesting, and gee whiz, man, this dude had the crown of nachos with the cheese dripping down his face. He's shirtless. I mean, poor guy, what did he do? Like, he just looks like this farmer, man, out to no good, but nothing worth getting banned forever. But you know what? It is what it is, I guess. Number 16. Doi! I think they were trying to make the name Doll, but their name is actually Doi, so I'm gonna go with that. And as you can see on his head, he is wearing the Dominus Imperius, and that is a very rare item. In fact, it is worth the most amongst traders on Roblox. And unfortunately, this man also got banned forever. He was known to be a game developer, and he kind of looks like he's in heaven right now with this heavenly white outfit. But you know what? That's cool, I guess. Number 14, we have Cool Boy 10,000. It may not look like it, but this guy also had a Dominus Imperius. I don't know where it's at here, but it's there, so rest in peace to this guy. He got banned forever, and he got an award for it, I guess. So not everyone's a loser when they get banned forever. I mean, Cool Boy 10,000, I hope he stays Cool Boy 10,000 in Banland heaven. Number 13. I trapped. Trap? He's a trap? Oh lord. So this man with the ice crown here was apparently worth 12 million Robux, and apparently they took place in the infamous April 1st, 2012 Roblox hack. Now that's pretty interesting if I say so myself, but you know what, man? I'm gonna just let him smile on forever. Number 12, the Stray. So, if you look at this guy, he's got quite the muscles, so I'm surprised he couldn't fight off whoever used the ban hammer to just take his freedom away from him. And he has wings, so he's flying out here, but you know what? He got banned forever, because this guy actually happened to be a scammer, unfortunately, and he was worth 13.5 million Robux. So, rest in peace to a Stray, but you know what? If you scam, you know, you gotta pay the price. So, you know, rest in peace to those poor victims' items, 13.5 million worth of it. Over here, we have a user named Ellernate. And I actually knew this guy back then. He used to post on this forum, Let's Make a Deal, and he was really rich. As you can see, he's wearing a Dominus on his head. This tie is actually worth quite a bit of Robux. He also, not shown here, is equipping the sword fight on the Heights sword of Lumina, which is fitting because we are at sword fights on the Heights right now. If you look around, look at this line of banned forever people. Yeah, this guy was really rich, but he also took place, allegedly, in the April 1st, 2012 incident on Roblox. So, what can I say except you're banned forever. Right here we have Geyser, and he was worth about 15 million Robux, and he was famous for password guessing old Roblox accounts. Now, I go more into detail about PGing and the sub-community behind it in one of my previous videos about the first 50 Roblox users, and you can watch that right now if you want to. And you know what, this guy looked like he was balling, but you know, all good things must come to an end, and this guy was banned forever. Next up, we have a man named Voozy, Lil Voozy Vert. He was a trader, he was worth 17 million Robux, and he got banned forever. This is getting really expensive now. Like, think about all the Robux that has been lost to just people getting banned forever. But you know what? It has to happen, it has to happen, you know? I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop it, so what are you gonna do, complain about it? This next person I'm gonna talk about is actually really interesting. So right here, we have this person named Chamintley, and they were worth 17.5 million Robux. You could see the Dominus Aureus on their head, the gold one. I don't like this Dominus, y'all might know that, but in fact, this guy, you guys know that super happy face on Roblox? This guy owned 243 of them. That is a lot of super happy. And lost to just people getting banned forever. But you know what? It has to happen, it has to happen, you know? I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop it, so what are you gonna do, complain about it? This next person I'm gonna talk about is actually really interesting. So right here, we have this person named Chamintley, and they were worth 17.5 million Robux. You could see the Dominus Aureus on their head, the gold one. I don't like this Dominus, y'all might know that, but in fact, this guy, you guys know that super happy face on Roblox? This guy owned 243 of them. That is a lot of super happy faces, and now all of them are gone just because our boy Chamintley over here got banned forever. Next up, we have someone named Caleb244. Apparently, he also took place in the April 1st, 2012 incident. I cannot confirm nor deny any of this because I wasn't really there that day. I just know a lot about it. And he was worth approximately 18 million Robux. Now that's a lot of Robux to be worth. Now, if you guys want to know where Fave would be, if I would put him on this list, he'd be approximately right here, between 18 and 21 million. Now, I cannot confirm this, though. I can tell you guys for a fact, I had the Dominus Imperius serial number 18, and if you check it, if you know how to check it, you can see it doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, we are entering banned forever people that are worth over 20 million Robux. Now this is getting crazy now, okay? So, anyway, next up we have Vorfy, and he just looks like an innocent guy. He's got his Jordans on, nice skater red grind hat. He's kind of swagging out here, but unfortunately, 21.5 million Robux later, this man got banned forever. Now, I'm not sure why he did, but he also owned 58 pairs of Work Clock Ultimate's Aquamarine Attitude. And if you look at this item, it's not very common, so that's pretty impressive. He also had a bunch of other rare Roblox items. That seemed to be his thing. Next up on our list, we have an individual who doesn't appear to have a head, but his name is Map X, and if you look at his character preview right here, he had a Dominus Imperius, and he got rich from reporting bugs to Roblox. But if you're the one finding all these bugs, it's also likely you're the one trying to take advantage of these bugs. And if I were to guess how he got banned, he was probably trying to mess with Roblox, and you don't mess with Roblox because they'll ban you forever, okay? So rest in peace to this guy. He was worth 23.5 million Robux. Number 4. Content Cool. So this person was another famous game developer, and this person happened to be worth 26 million Robux before they got banned forever. Now, people getting banned being worth this much Robux really never fails to impress me, because like, it's just incredible how rich you can get on Roblox just a little dog by making a few mistakes. Like, let's have some justice for these rich people. Or not. I mean, maybe they... Number 3, we have a guy who was once the richest person on Roblox, because this guy got terminated way back in like 2010, 2011-ish. He had every expensive limited back then, you name it. All 3 of the original Dominuses, which that's Imperius, Frigidus, and Infernus, right? He had all the sparkle times. This man was serious about his business, but he also was a serious scammer. Unfortunately, he made a fake Roblox app in 2011 and stole tons of accounts, and that seems like a pretty reasonable reason to get banned forever. So, rest in peace to Knitted Sweater. He was worth 32 million Robux. I don't even think I can process this. It's like, oh my god, like think about how much Robux you would have to buy to have 32 million Robux worth of limiteds. Number 2, Dragon 1. This guy was worth 36 million Robux. He was known for creating a game called Boxing Simulator 2, which has over 120 million visits. And he was also a trader. I mean, that's the only way you can get this rich, really, by trading items around, unless you're really just rich in real life. Dragon 1 here, you know, he was chilling. Look at all the hats he's wearing. He's wearing a classic fedora, a void star, some horns, some hair, some clockwork shades. Like, he was balling out here. He got a little chain on him. Man, and now he's banned forever. So, what you've all been waiting for, number 1. This person was once the richest person on Roblox, also known as Luigi0204. Both of his accounts are banned forever. Let me just list off the items this person had. Just some of the notorious examples. This man had 3 Domino crowns, a Dominus Imperius, a Dominus Frigidus, a Dominus Infernus, a Lord of the Federation, a Golden Robloxian, an Eccentric Shop Teacher, a Wynwood Crown, and so many more items. And apparently, quick little story about this person, they had their Dominus Imperius scammed from them, and then Luigi, also known as Roblox headquarter over here, went to track her real-life location of the scammer and got the Dominus back. That is insane. Another person scammed him out of 15,000 real-life dollars. So he also threatened him many times, and this is crazy, okay? Now, Roblox headquarter here is just a victim of being the brother of this Luigi0204 person, because Luigi here got banned forever for threatening people who scammed him with, like, death and stuff. It was crazy. This guy is just, oh my goodness. Like, Luigi here's the interesting person here. This is just an account to hold his items. And this account holding Luigi's items was worth 37 million Robux. It was his brother, apparently. But Luigi0204, man. Oh, what a guy. But anyway, thanks for watching this video about the richest Roblox players.
Newspapers are an endangered species. Even our best efforts to breed them in captivity have done little to reverse the crisis.
I think my cup's just starting to grow.
What is he doing? Relax, kid. Is he running out the house? He's running away from the house. He was just playing jailbreak. Oh, what's up, boys and girls? I'm Fanatic here, and welcome back to another Roblox video here on the channel. Hopefully, you guys are all having a banger day today, because in today's video, we are going to be watching a few kids rage over Roblox. But before we continue, hit that like and subscribe button down below and turn on that notification bell. And I am going to be giving away this Roblox gift card code, $10, somewhere along this video. Make sure to watch the entire thing, and I will be revealing this right here as soon as I scratch off the code. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate it. But let's focus on what we are doing for today's video. Now, before we actually continued our reaction video, I wanted to remind every single one of you watching this video right now that my official #FNATIC #Squid Squad merch is only available for one more week. After September 24th of this year, this merch will never be re-released again, so make sure to cop it as soon as you can. The link at the top of the description will lead you right to this store right here. Join the family and represent the #Squid Squad with as much love as you can, but let's head back on over to YouTube. Now, as I said from the intro of today's video, we are going to be watching a few kids completely rage over Roblox, and if I type in Roblox kid rage, we actually watched this one right here made by Doritos Reaction, posted over 2 years ago with over 500,000 views, and we watched this little kid completely freak out. You guys can see him screaming, throwing a bunch of things around the room, and I thought to myself, there has to be more videos of kids completely getting mad over Roblox, so I actually found these 3 videos right here. The first one we are going to be watching is 9-year-old kid rages over Roblox. It only has 33 views because it was posted a few days ago. Once again, guys, every single one of these videos will be linked in the description below, and make sure to stay tuned for the entire vid to actually have a chance to win this $10 Roblox gift card code. But here we go, guys, our very first video. Let's get into our react screen and watch a 9-year-old kid raging over Roblox. Alright, guys, I think this is a brother actually
Dude, you're in
filming
my
it.
room again playing Roblox?
Oh no.
Dude, you are actually tripping, fam.
I think it's going jailbreak.
Bro! Oh my god, I hate this stupid thing!
What the heck is he doing? Oh my gosh, what is he doing? Relax, kid. Oh, is he running out the house? He's running away from the house. He was just playing jailbreak. What is he doing?
Are you mad, bro?
This brother is literally teasing him so hard. It's so funny. And where the heck is he going? Is he just screaming across the street, guys? I think he ran away from home. This kid literally ran away from his house because he raged at Roblox. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, is he running back? What is he even doing? Hello? This kid is crazy. This kid is crazy. What the heck is he doing? He's just running around his house. This might be scripted, guys. This video may be fake, but what the heck is this kid doing? Alright, he's opening the backyard, okay. He's giving us a whole house tour, guys, because he's mad. And we got a punching bag right here. Oh, the dad's right there. The dad is right. Wait, what? He just punched the thing twice and laid down.
Kids these days.
Kids these days, but the person filming it was probably like 13 years old. He's still a kid. What the heck was that kid doing? I have no idea, but let me know if you guys think that was legit. And since we are watching 3 different videos, I want to know which one is your guys' favorite. We also have this video right here. Let me actually go back into full screen. Kid rages over cops, Roblox jailbreak, and instantly from the first second of this video, you guys can see that he's about to get arrested by a camping jailbreak police officer. Let's get into our react screen and watch number 2. Okay. You're in prison because you're playing jailbreak. We always have to do that, okay? He's grinding this game. Look at him, guys. Okay, he's so focused. I love his concentration. What a freaking legend. Oh, no. Okay. He's kind of slow with the controls, but honestly, if you're a noob at jailbreak, I understand because that used to be me. But look at him. He's punching the box. Okay, come on. Escape, buddy. Escape. Oh, I pressed the wrong one. The gate closed on him, and he has to punch the box once again. And come on, there you go. I think you have to punch it around 10 times for the gate to open up. And dude, he's so slow. He's slow with his controls, guys. I feel so bad. Honestly, you just gotta keep on grinding jailbreak to get better at it. And oh no, there's a few cops.
Taser. Because only cops get tasers. You can get guns, so if you kill a cop, they'll drop their gun. And you can get a pistol.
He's about to get tasered. I'm calling it right now. He's questioning the taser so much, but this kid has no idea what he's doing.
Start off with a taser, a gun, and handcuffs.
Okay. So whoever's filming this video is trying to give him a few tips as a cop, and okay, there you go. He made it out. He made it out, guys.
And open it.
The perfect teacher.
They're gonna come.
Oh no. Oh no.
They know you're there. They know you're there.
Oh no. Escape, buddy. You got this.
He's there. Cop.
Oh gosh, he's gonna get tased. He's gonna get tased.
What are you tasing me for?
He just got arrested. What are you tasing me for?
How did he arrest me? He's not a cop.
He just died. He's holding his chest. He had no idea what to do. Honestly, I've been there before, kid. All you gotta do is practice jailbreak a little bit more, and escaping the prison will become very, very easy. But the final video of today's video is this right here. Go into full screen, and it's titled Not Clickbait. Kid rages at Roblox and attacks. Probably one of the scariest titles for a kid raging over Roblox. Let's get into our react screen once again for the final time and watch this kid attacking over Roblox. Holy crap. Okay, there's 2 kids at the computer right now. I think he's playing some type of parkour game, and oh, he just died.
Hey, I didn't make.
What?
Turn up the volume.
Oh, he knows. He's calling him out. Oh no. Oh no.
Camper.
Wait, what?
You're filming a video.
You're rager.
Oh, he knows. He knows. He straight up knows.
No, I didn't.
Guys, if you have a sibling, I probably have done this to Matthew, my little brother, or Mark has done this to me, my older brother, so many times before, and he's getting that.
Why are you filming stupid videos?
He's telling Mom! He's snitching. Oh my gosh. Oh no, stop! You're a camper noob. Oh my goodness, guys. He's getting so pissed off. This is so funny. Is he crying? Oh no, he's getting teased. It's ugly just like you. Oh my goodness, guys. This brother filming.
Thoughts become action. Tell me what's happening. What's your mind wrapped in?